and what's out there. You can do something as simple as go to take a listing and something doesn't hit you quite right. And it can save you. One, sometimes the wrong person is listing the property because they don't own the property.
Oh my God, does that happen?
More often than I care to share with you.
Oh my goodness.
So guess what? Somebody signed a listing agreement with you, but guess what? They don't own it. Is your listing agreement worth anything? Nope. Right? You may have met somebody at the property, but that doesn't mean to say that they own that property. The other thing is, sometimes you hear you meet the guy in the property and he says, yeah, I want to sell the property, can you list it for me? We're going to sell this. But I'm not so sure, because my grandfather kind of owned it. And then I kind of just stepped in and took it over from my dad. That should send up a red flag for you, right? Because the question is, who really owns this?
Right.
And that should be the first line of defense. Who owns this? More often than I care to share with you, I've had cases where somebody's listing it, and then we do a pencil search, which is a soft search, but you who don't know what a pencil search is. It's just a quick look in the records. It's like me taking a peek, I check here and I check a little over there, and just to get a feel for who's telling me what. This is something that level 10 can do very quickly. As long as we have the time, and it's not the end of the month or the last day, and you come in and you ask Jacob, hey, could you take a quick peek at this? I kind of met this client for the first time. I'm not too sure what I'm dealing with here. And it can save you a lot of time and aggravation galore. I always like to tell stories. Stories are a great way for you to remember something. And I'm going to tell you a story from when I started out in this business. And I actually was a title closer. And at the time, the clients were actually at the closing table. Luck would have it is that in those days, everybody sat around the table to do the closing. The buyers, the sellers, their attorneys, everybody. And I walked into the room to do the closing. I have the documents, I'm doing stuff. And I said, okay, well, let's get started. Your attorney's going to help you along the way. Let me collect the IDs. And I collected the IDs from the sellers and the buyers. I walked off to the copy machine. I put the IDs down, face down, and I put the lid down and I pressed the copy button. I ripped the lid back up and I grabbed the IDs up and I looked at them because something, as I was putting them down, didn't quite add up in my head.
Right.
It was the date of birth for the seller. The property went into title like in 1960 something was when the seller bought this property. I am not joking, as God's my witness. The seller of this property, the wife, could not have been 18 at the time. But it said Jane Smith and Harry Smith that were selling. Jane Smith could not have been 18 years old.
18?
She could not have been 18. You have to be of legal age
Yes.
to own a property.
Absolutely.
She couldn't have been 18. So the question in my head is this Jane Smith? I look at the ID a second time just to make sure. But guess what? I walked into the room and I went like this to the seller's attorney because I know him. I said, have the buyer's attorney join me. We go outside the room. I just need a quick minute. It was Jane Smith. That is who she was. But that wasn't the Jane Smith that took title. Any guesses?
Or is that me?
No.
Parent, daughter.
Granddaughter.
No.
Granddaughter.
The Jane Smith that owned the properties, the ex-wife, he married another Jane.
Oh.
Stop it.
True story, honest angel.
That's funny.
I looked at them and I, she's just turning 20 something. It is important that you know. So if I had allowed her to sign the deed, transferring title, we had committed
Fraud.
fraud. Want to hear the better part? He apparently showed the house when the current wife was away. She didn't know that the house was being sold from under her. Like I said,
So the wife no longer lived in that
No,
that
she
house.
did.
She
She was
did.
away. Maybe she was on vacation.
she was on vacation. He still had keys. He had access to the house.
Wow.
That's just one of many stories.
That's just crazy.
It's crazy, but it's true.
It happens.
It's reality. Pencil search. Now, if you as the realtor had gone to the house, you met him and met her, and you know that he bought this house back in something, you probably would have asked what might be deemed an inappropriate question these days. Is that your daughter?
Mhm.
Because that could be the right? And it would have come to light. But that's really a long shot. There could be so many pitfalls, huh? But with a little due diligence, it's worth it. So if it's, like I said, if something rankles at the back of your neck, and the hairs kind of stand up in your head a little, it's worth it. Just go check. Just go check, right? Come to us, you don't know how to do it, come to us, we'll get it done for you, right? You could have heard that, well, my uncle had done something and maybe he put a lien on the house. Liens could come up, judgments could come up, and liens could be all kinds of liens. It could be they didn't pay something and it's a lien. It could be they decided to do a quick repair and the contract and then fell apart. They've forgotten about it because it was years ago. But guess what? The contractor had filed a notice of commencement and it wasn't removed, it's still on the property. Well, we gotta chase it down. You signed the contract, you just have 30 days to get this one closed because it's all fired brush. And you don't know about it till the title commitment comes back and then he can't remember. And but if you were doing it along the way, if we knew beforehand going in, you'd be a little bit more savvy and have a little bit more background to say, look, we might not be able to do this in 30 days. You might need the 45 days because XYZ. Now you're going from a place of empowerment, right? So you sound very, very knowledgeable to your client, right? And you're saying to your client, well, look, we've got a couple of issues here. Let's decide how we're going to handle them. He might have paid off a mortgage. It might have been a private lender. There's so many little caveats that could come up that tend to trip you up, but knowledge is power. A pencil search is, it's that like great barrier between you and looking very, very professional. And sometimes you just have to come out and ask them, you meet with them and say, hey, do you know of anything, can you remember anything that maybe it might be trivial to you at the time, but it's worth having the conversation. And then coming back to us and say, hey, maybe we want to run a pencil search in this one shed because I'm not sure, they may think, but they're older, they've forgotten things. They forgot that they paid off a mortgage, but they didn't get a satisfaction for the mortgage. And guess what's the pencil shirt's gonna show? That they have 2 mortgages and they're telling you, no, I don't have any mortgages. Well, it wasn't removed from title. So we gotta start working on that. But that makes you look very professional. Because guess what? You're representing your client. You look good because you're reminded you're saving some embarrassment down the road of getting to the closing table and he can't produce something. Right?
How do you prove that they did, if someone did pay off their mortgage and it's not removed from the title?
They just call.
You just call the mortgage company?
There are
or-
different steps, but because remember, each lender is different. What the bar that you have to prove with a commercial lender is different than the bar you have to prove with a private lender. A private lender kind of puts you through a little bit more hurdles, or sometimes you need time to track them down. It's not like going to Wells Fargo, picking up the phone and say, hey,
Yeah,
this was paid off 20 years ago. And then the onus is on them to prove it. With a private lender, the onus is on your client to prove it. It's a little bit different. Same thing like when you do with a residential property versus a commercial property. The onus is on you to prove things more when it's a commercial property than when it's a residential property. The residential property, your clients have more protections. The commercial property, they don't have as many protections. Okay, this is exactly, you know, the price of doing business. Let's put it that way. But if it's homestead property and it falls under a different category, so you have a little bit more bandwidth, as you would say.
But yeah, you start with a phone call.
Yeah, absolutely. And you try to gather as much information as you possibly can. You know, did you have a pay stub? Did you have this? Did you have, when last did you have paperwork on it? What paperwork do you have? And you start from there. So there are different ways to get all that done. But, look, I think right in here, a couple of the agents have, come to us and Jacob's some stuff and say, look, let's get ahead of this one. It's okay to go ahead and list it, but let's get ahead of it. Let's get ahead. Let's figure out what's wrong here and if there is really something wrong or if there's an anomaly. And sometimes there is nothing. But it still took an extra 2 weeks to prove that there's nothing. And because it's that extra 2 weeks, it kind of, you can meet your deadlines. You want to meet your deadlines because the more you meet your deadlines, the more professional you appear. Right? Nothing's wrong with just asking a question. Zoltan, how much more maybe you want?
How would we start perform? I know,
No, right.
but
Yeah.
for a new agent,
Mhm.
how would we start performing a pencil search?
Come to us. There's no right and wrong way.
What would we look for?
What you would look for, you'd have a little checklist kind of in your head. First of all, who owns the property? Because that'll put you in good stead because that's who's going to be signing your listing agreement. That's who's going to be signing your contract of sale. I can't tell you how many contracts of sale I have received. And it says, oh, estate of Joe Blow. Because that's what they told you. Oh, it's in an estate. It's estate of blah. But when I pull title, that's not what it reads, estate of. The legal title is Joe Blow, individually, and as trustee of the Joe Blow estate, which was formed in 19 whatever on such and such a date. You see that? That's the title.
wow.
That whole verbiage is the title, not estate of Joe Blow.
See, like when I perform my pencil search, I like to do 2 things. One is I go to see if there are any active permits, inactive permits, or expired permits.
Well, when you do a pencil search, that is part of it. Yes, we do the name, who owns it. Then we go to the tax records. Who's paying taxes? Then we go to the county records. Then we go to the county records. who really is, are there any judgments? Are there any liens? Are there any? It could be something as simple as a credit card payment that wasn't paid, but that's in the records. So, who owns it? Who's paying the taxes? Because that kind of tells you who really owns it.
Mhm.
It also discloses if a lender is paying the taxes. Then guess what? There's definitely a mortgage on that property, right? Because that tells you that. And then when you check the county records, you want to know that the guys are good guys, so to speak. So I kind of follow the rule of three
Yeah,
in the pencil searches.
Yeah, basically I do the same thing. First I start with my online search.
Mhm,
Tax paid,
mhm,
are we all caught up?
right,
My second search will be, are there any open permits, expired permits, or inactive
Correct,
permits that
right.
they might catch us at the end?
right,
And the last one is I go to the county records of where that home
is located,
depending on
correct,
what county, and I look for any type of liens on
Liens.
it.
right.
And
And
then,
sometimes you even have to go one step further if you have knowledge of your surroundings, because sometimes you even have to go to the municipality,
Mhm.
because there's some locales that have liens that are not in the county records.
Palm Beach water utilities.
There you go.
Riviera Beach,
Riviera
There you go.
Beach,
Boynton Beach.
There you go.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Riviera Beach.
Mhm.
Lakeward Utilities.
Yeah.
Even West Palm Beach has them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain things that just don't pop, and you're
Yeah.
saying like, well, when did this start happening?
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of when you do the full search now, that all I guess disclosed, but you don't have the bandwidth to do a full search to start the deal.
Me as a listing agent, I like to do the pencil search first because when I get to the property, I know they already interviewed other agents. And I
Right.
know they're going to interview other agents after me.
There you go.
But once I get there and
And
I
you're
say, look,
armed.
you have a lien on this, you have open permit on this, and they're like, nobody told me that. I said, well, that's the difference between them and me.
Correct. And then you're the ultra professional. You're
Hey,
armed.
Melinda, question.
Yes,
You had somebody close and they get title, but then when they go to the city of West Palm Beach, they tell them, oh, there's a outstanding water bill that has to be paid before we turn on your water.
yes. Now, do you know that it's customary for an agent, when you go to close a property, that you request a final read on the water bill? That should be normal practice.
We're not allowed.
You're not allowed to do it?
No, because that turns us into the expert, and my insurance will not cover that. Because if we make a mistake and it's not contractual, it's a practice, then our won't cover us. So we have to
Oh.
be very careful.
There's a gray area for
There's,
you.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
so and that's why a lot of things slip too, because
Yes.
we can't do those things.
Okay.
We're not supposed to.
All
So
right.
now,
If we can't see it visually,
Mhm.
we don't touch it.
Okay.
That's
So
why we
that's
have
how you know.
inspections, and that's why we ask you guys to do those searches.
correct me
for
if
us.
I'm wrong,
Right.
I sometimes tell my sellers, make sure you ask for a final water bill.
Yeah, and so
So they can do it and
Well-
make sure that we're caught up.
they don't need to ask for it, because when they go to turn it on the day before closing, it's right there. It's like, I can't turn it on. And then when you go to closing, we have the bill, because we can bring the bill right to closing.
Exactly. And that's what I was gonna say,
That's how we
because
have.
like I did a closing yesterday, right in house here.
Yeah.
And on my municipal lien search, I make sure I get water bills and I get utility bills. And what I do is I put it on the closing statement.
Exactly.
No argument. I
Yeah.
just put it there.
Yeah.
So when they come in, oh, but I paid it, prove it.
Show
Bring me a
the
bill.
Show me-
and I
show
can
me
give it back to you.
I'll hold it. I'm not gonna send it out.
So what you're saying for closing, we look for the bills?
No, no,
And
No,
no.
take it with
no,
us?
no.
Or
If
that's
you have
already
the
done?
buyer, doesn't your buyer have to turn on the utilities?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay,
the
we'll have
day
them
they
do it.
close, right?
No, well, they should go there the week before.
Yeah,
exactly. And make
Find out-
arrangements.
And then make arrangements to have it turned on that day, but right there when they go, that company's gonna say, there's an outstanding bill. Okay, give me
And
a
that's how
copy of
you
the
would find
bill.
out.
Exactly. They bring it to
Don't
closing.
wait, it's not day of closing.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that should be.
Hold on.
Does that help? Hello?
Yep, I was just bringing it up just as something that they need to be aware of.
Yes, it's a need to be aware of situation in this case for Keller, need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Okay, because like I said, I literally put it on the closing statement. And then when the seller, oh, but I paid that bill, you did? Oh, great. Just give me the paid receipt and I will hold it in escrow, as soon as you give me the paid receipt, I'll release the money. If you don't give me the paid receipt within such and such a time, I'm sending the check in. And that's my form of defense. And that's really how it should be.
And the reason I love pencil searches is because, well, the property you guys just closed for my investment.
Mm-hmm.
The owner was divorced, remember? He never put the deed in saying, take the wife off.
Exactly. So
And
when it
luckily,
turned
I
up,
found that, so you need to bring that into title so they can take care of it for our closing.
yep,
To take her off.
yeah. So
The
she had
paper was
signed
so
it.
yellow
She had
or something.
signed it,
She signed it.
but he never filed it.
Oh, we didn't file
He
it.
didn't file it.
Didn't record it.
Nope, it wasn't recorded
Oh, okay. How do you
But-
know- how do you know she signed
because we have the original
No, we
in
have
hand.
it?
Well, that's what title insurance is for.
Right.
Okay?
That's exactly.
That's what title insurance is there for.
Because she can come back and say.
I didn't
"Wait a
sign
minute,
that.
I
Yeah,
didn't sign it, wasn't me.
yeah, exactly.
What do you
Yeah.
do in that situation?
What?
If it wasn't her who signed it?
Well, that's a claim. That's handled
That's title
differently.
Insurance,
Right.
insurance that this person owns the title for you.
Exactly.
That's,
Oh.
Yeah.
that's the insurance.
Yeah,
we're paying
because-
for.
So if she comes after me now, I'm gonna go back to
He
the
comes to
fence.
us.
Right.
Hey, I'm
And what
getting
my
sued.
defense is, I go to my underwriter because when he brought me that deed, I went with it to my underwriter and say, is this insurable?
Yeah.
And my underwriter gives me clearance to use that deed, to record that deed.
What is the difference between marketable and insurable title?
Marketable title is just what it sounds like. Hey, any Joe Blow can send a piece of property. It's a transaction between you two. Insurable is if you have the transaction, but can you come to me? And when you come to me and I say, yes, I can insure it, or no, I cannot. And that's layman terms I use for title insurers.
When I worked REOs,
Mhm.
it was Wells Fargo,
Okay, yeah, they
And
had a
they-
lot going.
right? So they get a specialty deed,
Mhm.
specialty. And they would always clearly say it's marketable, not
Insurable, because how they took title.
Okay, so it wasn't a clean title.
It was the clean title.
So,
Yeah.
I
that,
get this a lot, so
Mhm.
since we're talking about
yeah,
REO
so
and
that
stuff.
is also falls under tax deed then.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
So it's marketable. Yes, I can go out and sell it, whatever, but the risk is yours.
And this is why I like coming back. because
that's why, yes, right?
Yes, the risk is yours.
Yeah.
It's marketable. You can buy it.
So that's like, so some people probably confuse, that's like, let's say me and Sharon. She has a car,
Mm-hmm,
I buy it from her,
mm-hmm,
like a for sale by owner, I buy it from her,
Mhm.
not using you guys.
right.
The car breaks down, that's just between me and her now. But now, let's say Sharon owns a dealership,
Mm-hmm,
I borrow the car from her, something happens. Now she has to make sure this car I bought was supposed to be the way it was, because she has a backing of an insurance.
right.
title
But
insurance.
that's lemon law.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
if you look at it like that. it's
Yes,
like title
exactly, exactly. Like, because when I go to buy something, even though, you go to the foreclosure sale, that's why people come to us before they do foreclosure sales too. And they ask us to do a pencil search, because they want to know what risk they're taking. The risk is in the marketable title. Insurance takes away that risk. The insurable one takes away that risk. The risk is not you anymore, it's on somebody else. Right?
Mhm.
Because you have our backing. We are backing it for you.
That's good.
Yep. That's what we're here for. To lessen the risk, to make sure it's insurable. That's
So, Before you go, so I have one more for you. When you do your pencil search and you see, and you're in county records,
Mhm.
and you see on the person, not the house,
Mhm.
you see IRS tax lien.
It falls on the house. Once the person owns property, a lien, an IRS lien is a federal.
Right.
It's a federal lien.
Uncle Sam's getting there.
Uncle Sam's always comes first. So when I run the person, now there's a way to check. Because it could be junior, senior, whatever.
Right.
Once I can prove that that social security number that's on that federal tax lien is the person who owns the property, it doesn't matter that they don't file it against the house. Once it's in that name with that social security number, it's a lien.
Automatic.
It's a lien.
So when you do a pencil search, you find all those judgments and
Mhm.
liens and stuff. So how do you know which ones,
Belongs to who?
which ones get paid and which ones don't get paid? Like a judgment you wouldn't pay at closing for somebody.
Why not?
Why would you, it's not attached to the house. A judgment on the person isn't attached to the house.
Once a judgment is filed in the county records, and that person, you can prove that person. If the search is done correctly, they would automatically put that judgment on that title commitment.
But sometimes they don't. It's just a judgment and it's just out there. But the IRS lien I get,
Mhm,
that one I know.
Yeah, how can you pay a judgment? Let's say me,
Mhm.
unpaid parking tickets. They have a judgment against me.
That doesn't go in the house.
That doesn't go down.
No.
Okay.
That's just a county approval of
That's what I'm
whatever.
saying.
Let me put it this way.
Irish
God forbid-
judgments though.
Yeah,
IRS, yeah.
IRS, yeah.
Yeah, because I have one park place,
Mhm.
business guy. He owed the IRS like 180 grand.
Whoa.
He just sold the house. to
Oh,
IRS.
man.
And he owed the guy, he
No,
owed
no,
the
no,
house
no.
180 grand.
He don't sold the house to the brand.
No.
It's like
they
a
settled
superior-
this
that's a
all.
superior-
The bank foreclosed on the house for 80 grand.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna buy it, my investor.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the property and said, hey, I'm gonna make a bid on this offer. He says, yeah, we kicked the guy out. They kicked that because he's running the business out to the condo, not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, so I went back to our time and I says, can you look at them? What's that? She says, this guy owes 180, so we backed away. Like I don't steer spotted. For the 80 from the bank, and ended up buying the 180 grand IRS tax.
Lien that's
Mhm.
on it. Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
'Cause
Guys,
any
I've
asset-
been-
Any asset that you have. the
Guys,
IRS
I've been to closings in New York City. And I've been on my way to a closing. And my cell phone rings. I answer because I don't recognize the number, but it says 202.
I know where that is.
You know where that is, don't you? I answer the phone and I hear, hi, Melinda? Yes.
You know
This is
that-
agent so from the IRS. What time is your closing for the blah, 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 blah closing today? I'm like, okay, this is not very interesting. You know, but I'm doing a commercial deal, so anything's possible, you know? And he says, I said, okay, you're gonna come to the closing? No problem. Do you need a certified check? Because it's Uncle Sam's, I need to know.
Yeah.
No, I said, because, I mean, it is an attorney's escrow check, so you should be good. He said, yeah, I'll be good. If you'll be there too and you close it out, blah, yeah, I'll just pick up the check
He'll
for
be right there.
600 grand.
Ooh.
He'll be right there.
He's picking up a check for 600 grand. Okay, guys? To go back to DC. DC puts him on, the IRS puts him on a train
Oh, yeah,
to
they
New
want
York
their
City
600
to
grand.
come pick up that check, okay?
They want their 600
And so
grand.
they're like, that's so crazy how they were aware that he was selling.
Oh, yeah,
Closing
well, there
that
was a
day.
lien on the title commitment, so they had to be notified.
Right.
They had to
Yeah.
give us a payoff letter. I had to sign, I had to go there. And when I do the closing, I literally had to sign off before anybody could get any money. I had to make sure I signed certain documents with him. He takes the check. See ya. then the closing could continue.
And the
Yeah.
seller-
Then
and
I
the
can
seller
finish
starts
the
yelling,
Yep.
what?
No, but the seller, you come, you understand, the seller came into the closing wearing a navy blue pea coat and a blue tab on his head. Okay?
He's fine. But once they start doing their research, the title company,
Right.
everything comes out of the
Yes.
woodwork.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
Oh, yes.
because everyone's like, oh my God, they're closing, everything comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
So,
And
you
then,
don't have to
and
worry.
once you call them, you call lien holders up,
Yeah, they're all there.
they're like on it.
Mhm.
They're on it.
Yeah.
They want to be paid.
Right. So it's not a bad thing. It's a
No.
good thing, right? Like when we did short sales.
Yeah.
If there was like typically there's like 10 to 30,000
Yeah, correct.
IRS
Left,
fees.
yes. Yeah.
And I could get that lien down to like
Yes,
50 cents,
everything's
half
negotiable.
price. 10 cents.
Everything's negotiable.
And not only did I sell your house and keep you out of foreclosure, but we also took care of IRS. How
And-
cool is that?
Exactly. And the fact is, because we did the pencil search, we knew it existed.
Yeah.
You had enough time to go negotiate.
So there's a lot of opportunity
There's a
out
question.
there.
Yeah.
There's a question in the
Yeah.
chat.
Deanna asked, is there a way to check if an HOA is a junior or senior to a mortgage in a foreclosure?
Never senior.
It's never senior.
Never
It's
senior.
always junior.
Never, never, never.
Yeah, no,
No,
that's for sure. That is for sure.
it's taxes, bank, or financial and
The
leftover.
last one on top of.
Yeah,
No, they're never.
Yeah.
They can't.
yeah. Mortgage is
If
always
there- if
first in
there's a
line.
Mortgage, yeah.
A mortgage is always first in line.
But then tax. comes before
Taxes.
mortgage.
Yes,
Tax supersede.
yeah.
Yeah, tax always. proceeds. Somebody was asking about the judgment. We were talking about that. When would a judgment show up on the house? Somebody was asking.
No, I
about
said about when you, on the person and
On the
public
person
record.
versus, a judgment shows up on the house when it's placed there.
that. Right, but when would it be on the title? Or would it get caught on title? Would it
When,
ever
when
happen?
it's filed,
Right.
when it's filed, whenever it's filed, from the first day it's filed, it's
But
there.
for example, a parking ticket wouldn't. It's like
No.
unpaid parking. So
No.
what would-
A parking ticket shows up in New York City because it accumulates interest and it can get to 10 grand,
Oh, wow.
okay? And it will show up on title. Some people, they just get lax and they forget, they don't do things.
You keep saying clouded title, clouded title. What's clouded title?
A clouded title is anything that's considered a lien. It shrouds it in some obscure way. A clouded title is when your buyer, your seller, is selling you, but he's not really entitled. He has an extra deed in the background there. A clouded title is when I record something or title company records something and it causes a question about that title. It could be something as simple and trivial as it's an estate. When we did the search, it showed an estate. When we transferred the deed, the attorney gave us the deed and he wrote for the person to sign and they just signed their name instead of signing as trustee and individually. That creates a cloud. Because there's a question, it's questionable about if there's a lien on this property or not.
Okay.
So the cloud is when a title company gets a title with cloud, our motto is clean it. Get rid of that cloud. So you may have to file a corrective deed, a corrective action. You have to take corrective steps to remove the cloud. And usually down the writer spells it out right there for you, the title commitment. If you ever look at a title commitment and they say, okay, XYZ is entitled, but because when they got the property, one generation back, at that time, the right people didn't sign off. But what we need now to clean it up is to have this person sign an affidavit, that person to do an affidavit, find the death certificate, record it, because the work, the due diligence wasn't done then, because it just passed down in family. And that's how we clear a cloud, but that's also how a cloud is created.
So let's say I have a listing coming up
Mm-hmm,
and the person has a power of attorney.
mm-hmm.
How would they sign the listing agreement or the contract, or how would they sign?
So they have a power of attorney for the seller.
Yes.
So they're gonna sign the person's name by their name his or her attorney in fact.
Sorry, okay.
You must invoke the power, absolutely. And do not bring me a power of attorney and tell me that the person died, please.
Ah,
Please, I'm begging.
Wait, the power attorney died or the person that?
Okay,
or-
person.
The person who
person.
gave the
You
power,
give me a power of attorney today,
and I
and
died.
tomorrow you die and I go and try and sell the property with a power of attorney. Don't
Okay,
worry.
that's not gonna work. No.
No,
I got power of attorney, okay?
yeah,
Yeah, but
You have power of attorney while the person's still
They
alive.
don't lie, right.
that's the
Otherwise,
point.
it either goes to the state or it goes to their.
That's, she's right,
trustee.
that's correct. Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm talking last week, okay?
Stop it.
I kid you not. I'm talking last week, somebody signed a contract of sale. And then in doing our due diligence, by finding out the information, you know, who's the seller, where are they, I need your name, address, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I have a power of attorney. Okay, send the power of attorney in with the contract. Well, the person's dead. What? Last week, guys, last week.
That's what
No, that's what I'm working
So
on now.
how did
and
you
he said
handle
my
that?
dad
I mean,
said,
that was like,
"Start
hello.
working
With a
to
very
get the
nice
property in your
smile.
name."
Okay.
And saying, I'm assuming that you also have a trust. Would you please just bring me a copy of that? Oh, but I only have, no. I need to see the entire trust. I'm sorry. It may be 100 and something pages. I still have to read it.
So when is a good time for a listing agent to give you the information to start working on the closing?
Closing,
When is a good time for
Or-
the listing agent to get you involved in the transaction?
thank you. Get me involved with listing.
The
Before
day we
listing.
take, before we
The
take the
day
listing,
you, before you take the listing,
or the day of?
on the day of, you come to me and say, hey,
Pencil search.
can you do me a quick pencil search? Really, you gotta, you know, this one's hot. We make time for hot. Right? We do your pencil search, you get it to you. It's okay, you got past there. You then got your contract signed. Still come to me.
Right.
Still come to
You
me.
don't wait,
Don't
don't
wait.
wait for
If you're
anything, don't
stuck in
wait for
command,
insurance, don't wait for
Goes through and
title.
see, it goes to them next.
Yep,
See, I get them involved because I do my own pencil search. I get them involved as soon as my contract's signed.
Yeah.
The very same day, I'm already,
Listing agreement.
yeah,
Don't wait for the contract. Get everything started at the. when
Yeah,
the
well,
listing is
Johnny does.
signed.
Johnny does his own pencil
Yeah,
search,
that's why-
but in his
But
defense.
still,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, still get it to them.
Yeah.
Let them start their work.
Yeah,
Let them start. Don't wait until the contract's signed.
as far
In the
ahead.
event they find something,
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
contract.
okay.
will be
there
gone.
you go.
yeah.
There you
So
go.
I'm gonna start doing
And
that.
if
now.
they
You
find
get the
something
listing.
with
See, because
Yep.
I usually
Give it
do
to
my
them.
own pencil
Yeah.
search, then once I get the contract signed.
Because think about estoppel and everything
then
else.
you get-
Yeah.
I didn't think
They
about
could
that.
already have all the information. They could have everything ready the
The
day you get
faster
the
you
contract.
shovel
Don't
me
wait.
I'm
stuff.
gonna send you my
I shoot
listing
it
right
out,
now.
and then I want it out of my hand.
Yeah,
Isn't
you
that?
see,
Then
All
I-
right.
Neil does his defense. I'm
Okay.
sending you something.
Yep.
When
That's
As
all
I
I
walk
hear.
into the
I'm
door,
sending it, and he's
All right.
like, here.
So pre-listing, do a pencil search.
I don't want it.
Yeah,
So
But
right
hold
before
on.
you go to the listing, you do the
Mhm.
pencil
Pencil
search.
search.
right.
Get the
And then-
listing paperwork signed.
Okay,
You put it in the MLS, put it in command, and
Yes.
give it to them. That's the order.
okay.
And then when you're giving it to me,
All right. so
I'm
I
hoping
update
that you
my-
have as much
I update my-
information as you
my
possibly
system,
can.
okay.
Okay.
I never
Because
thought about
I'm
it that
looking for
way.
So
contact.
I'm
And
gonna
that's
write
why-
down pencil search,
Mhm.
Listing agreement,
listing agreement.
MLS,
MLS,
Title.
command,
Yeah, command.
Title.
title.
yeah,
even before it goes on MLS, I walk in around, I see J-Lo and say, hey, I got something coming to you today.
yeah.
So they know by midday, they don't
See
see
it?
somebody's asking somebody, hey, Neil said something. I don't
Yeah,
want it.
did Neil give us something? So even if he gets busy, I'm checking with
they
him.
they know what they need. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about it. And that way they know exactly what they're asking for when we go into contract. If there's
Exactly.
anything else that needs to be done from listing to contract, they're just gonna pave the way.
Yeah,
And if there's nothing, it's nothing, wait for the contract, but they know what they're doing. Don't question them. Give it to title
Yeah.
immediately.
See,
Yeah,
So this is a
absolutely.
handshake, right? Because we
Yeah.
all gotta work together.
Yeah.
So.
See, I put in my head, now I'm gonna change my system. I put in my, I don't wanna bother you yet, check the contract.
no,
Sorry.
but you see, sometimes
Don't just
it's
put it
important to
aside.
bother me. It's important sometimes to
Yeah.
bother me.
So I gotta update my system now.
Yeah.
The
Because sometimes you say, hey, because then, we're going, hey, did you know that blah, blah, blah? And it may save you, because guess what? You now, between the pencil search and the actual
Title.
type, no, actually the actual contract, right?
Yeah,
Guess
what can
what?
happen?
Guess what?
What can happen?
You,
Everything.
anything can happen. And guess what? If I find something, you have a little bit more negotiation. You have some, another weapon. Yeah. Right, because you say, hey, by the way, did you know that you have X amount of liens on the property? How much are you looking to get out of this? We may have to fix this. We may have to do something to fix this,
I'll come up there.
right? So you then beat the other person who's vying to get that listed for you, right?
And how cool is it if they need to contact someone like a seller, that they do it in between listing agreement and an actual
Yeah,
contract?
because
now they already get to
Yeah.
know them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, they're already working on my closing. I don't
Yeah.
have a contract
how many
yet."
times
How
has
cool is
Jacob
that?
spoken
That is
to
really
people?
cool.
Say, hey, buddy, I understand you have a problem. Let's see if we can get this worked out now.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Let's
guess
see if we can
that's
get
my
it worked out now.
It changes your whole
So
business.
then when we give the listing basically to you, then you take off and say, hey, Mr. Seller, this is what I see. So you take over.
Well, actually, that's your job,
Yeah.
because you're negotiating.
Okay.
They're doing it for you, but you're gonna be.
But you're gonna
You're the
say,
mouthpiece.
Sharon, this is what I see.
Exactly.
And then now I have to get on the phone with Mr. Seller and say, listen, this is
Or
what we need
appear
to
in
take
front
care
of
of.
them. Or
Okay.
appear in front of them, right?
Yeah.
And literally say, hey, but this is what I have.
Yeah, I told them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we want to get it to you as quickly as possible. We want to start working on, they know what they need to work on and don't. If they don't need to do anything, just put it aside until they get a contract.
Exactly.
They know their business.
Of course you do.
So that's why,
25 some plus years, even though Jacob.
where is Jacob?
Jacob is probably sitting on a boat in a lake if the sun just burned off the farm. I hope, I
That
really
is
hope
so
he's doing
cool.
that.
That's nice.
I hope he's doing that, because we all need a little downtime right about now.
Let's talk a little bit about foreclosures, and then we
All
have,
right,
and
you
then some of
guys-
us are going into a short sale class, so that's kind of cool too. It's a 5-week session,
Mhm.
5 weeks, 6
6
weeks,
weeks, 2 hours a day, 2 hours one day every week.
every week, 2 hours a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be really cool. So they'll all be certified in
So
that.
you guys will all come together.
It's all kind of.
All right, I hope I was helpful today.
Yeah.
I'm pleased, you can reach out to me. I know sometimes I'm crazy busy, and they pass and they see my head down, they say, don't talk to her, but guess what? I can multitask.
Yeah.
So you can come and talk to me. I still can get back to what I was doing, all right?
The only time she doesn't answer is when I ask for chocolate.
There you go.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys,
All right.
have a good
Let's go
day.
into MLS.
I just gave John a bag of M&Ms to go to him. My
Really?
husband, it's like a big bag. My
Really?
husband's like, "Get this out of here."
Really?
Thank you, because I didn't hear it come from him.
Okay, okay.
All right.
1 second. Sharon.
Are we doing it in here?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
No.
This is two different things. Ignite is in here. All right, Ignite is today, right? You guys have Ignite today? Who's your coach? Who's your coach? You don't have a coach yet, right?
She does, it's Neil.
She hasn't signed it.
Oh, you haven't signed the agreement. You need to sign
Oh.
with Neil, he's awesome.
Are you in Ignite? Okay.
She just signed yesterday.
Oh, no, she didn't. She signed last week. Yeah, she's been
On
here 2
Friday?
days.
You're,
I thought it was just now.
Get
It's
on
the first
it.
time I'm seeing it.
2 whole days.
yeah, I signed with Neil the very next day I came up. Because he's like, come here you go, sign this.
What you got?
Go wrong. You don't do it. It's crazy. Too many people think they can do it on their own.
What's that?
Come on. I've already
Do I
told
have
my
time
daugh-
for a bathroom
Why is
break?
it so blurry?
My daughters, I gotta go do that too. My
I'm
daughter
gonna go to
and
bathroom.
my girlfriend are doing it. I've been working on her. This is the second time. I said, you're not quitting now. Forget the math, forget the.
I'll be right back.
I'm good with you. You're taking this class. So
Is this share?
I told her, I said.
I'm
oh,
about
I
to
said,
share it. I just didn't want to get our login.
"Fair."
They can't see it.
Oh.
I want you to get all your contacts in order.
All right.
So that we upload them for command, ready for command. Right on it.
Sure.
There's classes and stuff going on all day long in here. But it's so there's different levels. So this afternoon, Ignite's going on. That's for people doing their $45 post licensing. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Joe.
You have that T-box, and you know that you're giving away $1 million buys
Sure.
to somebody else. Because you feel all, you know, you should forget about it.
When is Ignite? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Every week,
So from 1 to 4?
from 1 to 4.
Yeah. So that's for the 45-hour post licensing. That's 4 weeks long, and they're in week 2. So you could start today if you want it, or you can take it the next time because you have a while to get your 45-hour post licensing done. Yeah. Yeah, take it the next time. You have a year and a half, so don't worry about it. And we offer it every month, so don't worry about it. But so that's going on for the new agents that just joined us that are getting doing their 45-hour post licensing. And then we have a short sale class that they're doing once a week. It's more advanced. It's for short sales and it talks about foreclosures. So there's always stuff going on in here, so it's kind of cool. So we're going to talk about mining for foreclosures. Where's Johnny? Is he here or what's he doing?
He just left to make a call.
Did not, he went to smoke a cigarette.
I know. I'm trying to make
I
it
don't know
sound
why y'all
decent.
cover for him.
I was trying to make it sound nice.
Well, where did, what's her name go?
Who, Mimi? Oh,
Sure.
sure.
She said she'll step right back. She can say,
She
sure.
went to smoke a cigarette.
No, that's all.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna.
Right? You want to smoke a cigarette too?
No. All right.
All right. So I'm in MLS. So what we're going to talk about, this is going to be very short. It's not, the big thing was the pencil search stuff because that really is all the information you need for anything. You know, once you start looking for foreclosures, you're going to see all the information you need in a pencil search. If that's what you want to do, you can use PAPA, Property Appraisers website, or you can just use IMAP. Now I like IMAP because I'm used to manipulating it, so I'm going to do a lot of stuff in IMAP right now. So take some notes. Now go back to the screen where you're just stand still. Who's answering the phones?
Really?
Billy is? Okay.
I can go check, make sure.
Make sure that because if she doesn't know where you are, she's not going to get up and go to the door or anything like that. And we got to make sure that there's someone at the side.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start with that. She's going to ask questions. So on here are a lot of the tools that we use. I'm logged into RAPB's MLS. And so the MLS is here and IMAP is here, which I can get to from here. But this is the property appraisers. MLS is linked to the property appraiser's office. This is something we pay for. And then where's Advantage?
It's advantage, you have to actually go in.
It's here.
I've never accessed it up there.
Oh, really? Here. That's Advantage.
What did I miss?
Oh my God, it's here. What am I not seeing?
You have to go into the MLS.
No,
Okay.
everything in the MLS is here.
What are you looking for?
Scroll up.
Neil, MLS Advantage.
Oh, it's there.
Every single link that you can get to from MLS is actually in here. So MLS Advantage is the MLS for the state of Florida. So all the MLSs send data to this one, so you can actually look up stuff in there. We're going to go into our MLS. So we're going to go into Flex. And whenever you can look for whatever, this is your MLS, this is the easy part. But I want to go straight into IMAP, which I could have done from the other screen or from this screen. So the screen's not up.
Want to go back?
No.
Menu.
Dude,
You
I'm
don't,
gonna
you
fire
don't have
you.
it start, you gotta go to menu.
Here, let me
Okay.
get,
I'm at that.
let me get there, Florence. I got it. I got it. Here's what's up.
Get out of this, yeah.
All right.
Go back and do it.
Exit.
Okay,
Quick
thank you.
search.
All right, so now, where's IMAP?
You want me to pull up any property?
Anything. It doesn't even matter. I just want to get the IMAP thing up there.
Okay, hold on.
doing this?
I don't know.
Is it
That's
down?
strange.
Is it down?
No, it's been doing this for me too.
Uh-huh.
This, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
Go back to search. There's something wrong here. Something wrong. Hold on and just wait for it to finish loading. There's something very wrong. I can't see the rest of this stuff here. There's something not right.
Still doing the same thing.
Okay. So. All right, so what I like about IMAP, for me, it's faster, because here I can just pick the county I'm going to. And there's 67 counties in Florida, so I can, and for some reason, mine always defaults to Broward. But let's go into Palm Beach County. Where are you?
Top.
Right here, top right. Yeah, so all 67 counties are here, so you can actually look up any property anywhere in the state of Florida. So we're gonna look at Palm Beach County. Now, what I'm gonna do different here, put in a property address. Let's do, you can do my address.
I got it. I'm gonna put mine.
Okay. And don't put directions. Doesn't like directions.
Is
and
this starting from IMAP? or
This is
where we-
IMAP.
That's
Okay.
IMAP.
This is MLS, IMAP.
Because I've gotten there, like searching the property, then hitting IMAP, and then it comes down.
Same thing.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Is
I
this
just
going
I
in
have
here by
everything in
itself?
It is a separate product.
Okay.
Okay, so give me any property. It doesn't matter whose it is. Okay, so what I'm looking for in here first is the property ID number, because if I'm going to look for foreclosures, I'm going to look for an area. So that's typically what I do, is I'll pick a subdivision or something. And so I look for the property ID number.
Oh, yeah, I like that there.
Oh, okay, so there's your property ID number, which is like a social security number for a house. Every single house has its own property ID number. And I just wish this was bigger. So there's, I don't know how many digits there are, but the first 10 numbers is a subdivision. So
17 digits.
17, well, the first, yeah, okay, 10, 3 and 4, okay. So the first 10, and only Palm Beach County works this way, so it's kind of nice that we're in Palm Beach County because it's easier. The first 10 is a subdivision. So if I just wanted to look up this entire subdivision, I would highlight the first 10, go back to my search and put it in property ID, and I will only get that subdivision. Coolest thing ever. Okay, then the next 3 is the block. And the last 4 is the actual property, the lot. So I've got subdivision, block, and lot. It's the coolest thing to be able to understand, because when I do searches for foreclosures, this is how I start. Okay, so that's the only thing I care about right now, because I don't care about this one unit, but you should understand what all these things are, and sale information and everything, because when I get to foreclosures, I'm really gonna wanna look for this. So let's go back to a new search. Oh, did you highlight the first 10? Highlight the first 10 on any of these?
Yeah, I already copied it.
Okay, and let's go back to our, back to the IMAP search, new search here. Okay, now here, let's do a foreclosure search. These are list pendants. They're not foreclosures, they're list pendants.
Subdivision?
Let's do a subdivision, put the first 10 in. And there's none. There's none.
Check it, got one of them.
Oh, ouch. Change the last 2 numbers, just change the last 2 to 20. No foreclosures in that area. Okay. Take out the last 2. Okay, and now do a search. No, take out the last next 2. I'm just looking for foreclosures right now.
So if you want just a generic one, would you just hit the foreclosure
Yeah, I
search
could
up
do
there?
that. Yeah. This is pretty cool when you look at this. So the only thing we left on here was the city. And 00 is unincorporated county. And there's only 2 in unincorporated county, which is really interesting.
almost nothing. So let's look at the first one. So this was done in, we can't see it when it's highlighted. Can't see it. So here's the actual case number and when it was filed, and it tells you who filed it, who the plaintiff is, and who they serve. So, and as a homeowner, everyone was notified of this. So this one looks, who owns it now?
Bayview Loan Services.
They actually own it. So this, oh, this is not a list pendants. This is already foreclosed on.
That's proposed.
This is already foreclosed. But you can see all the information on here. This is really interesting.
It was filed 11/8/20.
Now, if you click it, it actually takes you to the document, which we don't need to go to the document, but it actually shows you everything about the document. Remember the pencil search? This is just like your pencil search. It's taking me right to the document, which is what the title company looks for. So they could look up all the information on here, even if you took the listing, because now in some cases, this is the Meadows. Is that what you were talking, what we were looking at before was the Meadows?
No,
Oh, how ironic is this?
yeah, because we went down to one
This
last.
is really
first
weird.
two.
Go up to the top. So the owner is still the actual owner because the bank didn't take possession. They foreclosed, but they didn't take possession, which they do all the time. So that gives you enough information to know, like, if it hasn't already transferred, if they don't, I don't see a sale date. I don't really see much of anything on here. I don't see a sale date. Nope, they still own it. So this is really a short sale.
Let's do this one.
That one's a short sale, so that's a possible short sale. So that's the way you can find foreclosures and short sales. Let's do the whole county. Let's not pick an area. Let's do a new search, foreclosures, and then just hit enter. Let's see how many there are. Okay, so there's a few.
5,000.
5,000 possible foreclosures, possible short sales in Palm Beach County alone. A lot of them will be businesses, so you really have to mine it. And when you're in here, you can create mailing letters, mailing labels, 30 on a page. So you can create mailing labels, you can do postcards, you can do everything from here. So you can actually do a mailer to these people. Can you help these people? Of course you can. As each one in a separate, and it would be 5160s when you do it, it's 5160s. That's the box that where there's 30 on a page. But go back to that one. And the other thing you want to look at is you want to look at the, pick any one of them that's residential. You want to look at the difference between the mailing address and the property address. Because if they're different, it's probably a secondary property and those are easier to sell because they really want to get rid of those.
Right here. 1401 Village Boulevard.
Well, there's a perfect one.
That's just
Yeah.
on the street.
Because the mailing address is different. So that helps you get to those people faster. There's no phone numbers or anything in here. But there's so much that you can do with, you know what, they're all 2019. It's like they all stopped before the pandemic. Yeah. But all the information is here. So when you're talking to someone, you got to make sure you have access to this immediately so that you can rattle off information. Or like when I go on a listing appointment, I always take the tax roll with me anyway. I always print that off when I go on a listing appointment because right there I have everything. And if you can go to Pappas, you can get the same information from Pappas, but I like this one because I can get the mailing labels. So it's just easier for me. And then once you're in here, you just want to investigate each one. Is this a mining field for agents? Yes, if you want this to be your niche. If you want to mine these foreclosures, there's thousands out there. You can't get a listing out of these, and it's a gift because they're already in the foreclosure process. You just have to find out how far along. I don't see sale dates on here, no auction date.
No judgment.
How
Nothing.
would you find out how far along they are?
I can
Because
read the documents.
Record.
So if I
It
click
gets
on here,
posted
take-
every- whenever the sale date is added, it gets updated.
You see where it says file date? If I click on that, it'll take me here.
I can see everything about them. Oops.
Oh.
Except this machine. But there's no sale date. I have time. I don't know how much time. I won't know that until I'm talking to the people. There's something wrong with iMac.
So I clicked on the sale date for this one. It took me
The
to
file date.
File date.
And then when you hit view over here, it doesn't let you see it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I always click on What he did, that's how I got to.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
And then get image, and there's your PDF of what happened. There you go. Tells you everything. But it's like all different documents. And there's a lot. So here it's the owners, it's the homeowner association. They're serving everyone to let them know that they plan on foreclosing on this property. So when this goes to the title company, so if I have a short sale processor working on this, because it is a short sale, the short sale processor is gonna find out all this information, because they all get paid off, right? So the short sale processor has to negotiate first with the bank, and then the bank lets you know what they're gonna pay on everything else. But that's the processor, that's not an agent's job, and I don't want you guys wasting time on this. I just want you to go get the listing. Or this is your lien, this pendants is your lien. But don't process these by yourself. So these look like they're all 2019, December of 2019.
Moratorium ends the end of this month.
Yeah, 31st of July.
You're already seeing dates come up.
This one here is auction date. Oh, auction date was yesterday
Oh, let's look at that one.
for this one.
Lehman Mortgage. There's your defendants.
Judgment.
Attorney,
and
judgment.
date. Yep.
Yep.
Started.
So they're already working on that one. Now, you can in the last 24 hours still close on this. You can. But you're not gonna solicit.
So
something
that's kind of a waste of your time if you. see
within the
something
same
like
day
that.
unless, you have it's magic. It's not gonna happen. But this is what you wanna look at. So John's been looking at the dates. He's checking each one. He's probably already gonna call them all.
Or get this list.
5,000 liens in Palm Beach County. But I'll bet you about 10% are commercial.
You think the commercial is that strong? It's so strong
So
right now
here's
that
another-
that's crazy.
Well, because of the pandemic and they can't run their business, so they're gonna, yeah, people are walking away from it. Which one is this?
Here's a good one. This is 3023 Alcazar Place Apartments in Palm Beach Garden. Their tax mailing address is Washington,
Washington, Minnesota,
Minnesota.
Montana? I don't know where that is.
So this is
They're not even
just,
here.
this is just starting because there's
That's a
no
perfect-
file date. This is just starting. They sent out the paperwork.
Nothing's done. That's perfect.
Yep. This
That's
is
a
the-
perfect one.
So what would you say?
I'll
if
be
you-
sending a letter to them.
It's
say,
a
"Hey,
generic letter.
by the way,
Okay.
just got public record that you're about to go into foreclosure. I would like to speak to you about your options.
Now, even in here, if you pick these names, it goes into public records and pulls up everything on public records.
This goes to white page right
So
here.
you
Oh,
would,
that one's white pages.
so you will be sending them a letter, you won't be trying to call them?
If I have a phone
There's
number,
no phone number.
sometimes you'll have phone numbers here.
And it says do not call.
Sometimes they say that. Now, if it doesn't say GNC, you better check with the DNC list.
Well, if it's outside of 561, we don't have a list.
Won't have a list.
So they can't stop a letter.
I would just write them.
I'll just write them.
I do postcards. I don't do letters. When someone's in foreclosure, they don't look at letters. They're not gonna open up letters. No, I just don't throw away. I mean, I'm already foreclosed. What do I care? I don't.
So you send them like a little
Postcard.
postcard, that says, call me, I can,
There's all kinds of marketing postcards.
okay, gotcha.
All kinds of marketing postcards.
You can get anything in the, if you go to Papa, you click on their name, you go on the deed, the last name, you can pull up a lot of stuff and get into the court.
Yeah, there's some, oh yeah, but you can just click, the documents are here. You can just click them. It takes you straight there. Go back up to the top. The other thing, we talked about the 17 digits, right? So it's the lot, the block, and then this is all subdivision. The first two is the city. So like this is West Palm.
52.
Oh, no, that's Palm Beach Gardens. 52. Yeah. So the first two numbers tell you if you need to do more work. It's like when she was doing the pencil search stuff, she was saying it was like Riviera Beach or something. So the first two numbers would be different if it was Riviera Beach. So she knows she has to investigate the cities. If it's 00, it's county and she doesn't need to investigate any kind of a city.
See, Dolores, Neil, me and myself, we've been doing this for a while, so we know 00 is unincorporated. We know.
I have a list, I cheat.
But if you go to the actual Papa, they can give you a code for each city.
You can
in
print it
Palm Beach.
out.
Yeah, you can print it right off and just have it.
There's
So you know exactly what municipality you're dealing with.
If you just Google Palm Beach County Municipality List, you'll come up, there's a printout. That's what I use as a printout. And the newest one is Westlake.
Yes, oh, that's
They're the
cool.
newest one. Yeah, so there used to be 36, now there's 37.
I wonder if they've got,
Palm Beach County Municipality.
So the first two numbers is the city.
Oh, they don't have the numbers
And
on
then the
this one?
first two numbers plus 8 more is subdivision. And then you have 7 more digits left.
3 is the block,
3 is the
4 is
block,
and the last 4 is the lot. Block and.
and then last 4 lots. Block and lot, chapter 10.
And that's why it's important to have the right numbers, because when the closing agent, when the closing agent, if they're using, if we don't give them the right numbers, we could be selling the wrong unit. Let's be careful.
Okay.
Be very careful. There it is. No, that's not it.
But it's in pop, it's under
It's
pop.
on the
I
pop.
get it out of pop. I always get it out of them. And I just printed it off because it's never going to change except for Westlake. It's in whatever.
Yeah, you just gotta find it. It's right in pop.
All right, so the most important thing that we did today was the pencil search and how important it is and when to contact the closing agent. The closing agent, most closing agents love when you ask for pencil searches, because if you're asking them for a pencil search, there's a pretty good chance that when it goes to close, when you get the contract, you're gonna go back to the same person. So it's an investment that they do for us. So you know you're gonna use that title company, you ask that title company for a pencil search. Linda, level 10, she's a wealth of information. It's crazy. It was just amazing. So you want the pencil search for that. You want to know of any challenges in the property when you take the listing. When you take the listing, you put it into MLS and then come in and then take it to your closing agent.
Do you, like with the foreclosures, would you still do like
Everything's the
pencil search, everything the same?
I wouldn't know if it was a real foreclosure. I wouldn't know what to deal with. So I do absolutely everything for every single listing. It
Okay,
has nothing to do with what I treat foreclosures the same way I do regular listings.
okay,
I just have a special processor on the side that handles it
okay.
yes,
because I don't do paperwork. I don't get paid. My time is worth more than,
and you need to know somebody that really knows what they're doing.
oh yeah, the patience that's involved with that is crazy.
Do you have anybody around that can do it here?
We're gonna find out this afternoon on the class. He has his own processor, so we'll see how she does. Because we're not really busy right now, so we can use her. She's not licensed, so I'm not worried about that. Until we can find someone that can do it. I'd love to have an in-house person do special transactions, like short sales. That would be great. Yeah. Yeah, and they should also be doing divorces. I mean, we really need, like, for in concierge, that special person that does the complicated things, that works closer with the title company. Right. Yeah. And maybe they belong with the title company, I don't know.
Sometimes that's what they've done. So if you know, the insurance code.
Who would
My
understand?
attorney did that. His wife
The
did.
municipality list on research. Most title companies are good at it, but it's still a lot of time and it's expensive. All right. You missed Melinda. She was showing us how to do pencil searches
The municipality list,
and what
yeah.
she looks for and everything.
It's,
I know it's on pop it here.
it's pbc.gov/papa/muni list.
What list?
What list?
Muni-list,
Municipal.
Muni.
muni list,
MUNI
-list.
dash list.
You print it once, right.
Oh, you can do that,
Right.
like MUNI-list.com?
/ or just regular dash.
/muni-list.
Dash list.
It's recorded, Dolores?
No, dash
Look at it
list.
to see.
Dash
I don't
list.
know if they recorded it or not.
It's fine.
Yes. This is being recorded.
I asked Jacob.
Jacob's not here.
Yeah, he's a vacation.
Dash
That's what they
A,
said, yeah.
.html. Muni
Oh my
dash
God.
list dash HTML.
Why don't you give us part of the line?
Let me see there.
That is so funny.
And I have the list right in my office, and I have it right on. my
I
wall.
have it. I am, yeah.
Someone help me get my Zoom up.
Ask, really. Ask them.
I'm doing this because I'm online.
I'll be
My
sure,
wife is not taking a class.
Dash HTML,
Dot HTML.
dot HTML.
There you go.
There it is. There it is.
Where's this?
This thing is crooked.
Yeah,
The screen is crooked.
print it out.
So I'm going to put this link,
Be careful.
this little copy, I'm putting this link in the chat.
Let me spot you.
No.
There it is.
Okay, scare me to do that.
I was spotting you.
So I put that,
Not that I
I
don't
put that
do this a
link
lot,
in the
but I
chat,
know.
you guys can go
I've
right
done
to
that
it.
before too.
This is the coolest thing. And we were looking at 52 before. Probably started.
52 Palm Beach Park, so you have unincorporated, Atlantis, Belgrade, all the way, everything in Palm Beach, oh, they already have Westlake 77.
Yeah, I know. That's the only reason I know. And click one of them.
Uh, Let's do West Palm Beach.
Oh, that's the biggest one.
Biggest one. And then it just takes you to that side. Oh, and then water utilities and stuff. So those are, those are all.
When
the
you
biggest-
go that, when you get to that site, what is?
This is just their website
Just
for
their website.
utilities.
I like to use this. Once I go to the listing, I know what municipalities,
Okay,
because I like to be the source of even on the other side.
right. Mhm.
So for the buyer, say, listen, your municipalities for your electric, your water is this
Right,
and this.
right.
You will get a lot of questions.
Mhm. So I
And tell them
create
where
a
to go.
welcome to the neighborhood
Right.
list. This is what you need.
I've got the link to go and pull, in Palm Beach County, to pull up all of the, permits that they've done.
Yep.
I've got the cool link.
Now, the thing with permits, you'll have to go back to the city too.
Right,
Because the
and
cities
some-
have their
Well,
own
that's,
permits.
no, but that's only if you have Palm Beach County. I also
Yeah.
I've made a good rapport with my person that I do my, inspections. And when I go to list something and I can't find it versus, going to the city or something.
Yeah.
I call her up and she's got it done in 2 minutes.
Jacob does that too for usually
He does.
higher listing prices, but
do
he's
for
an
anybody.
amazing.
You can do it for anybody else.
It's really cool.
It's- But my guy just does it for me, and no matter what it is, he'll
Yeah.
find it out for me.
Discover,
resources
this
out
is where I go discover.pbcgov.org. This is where I do my online search for liens. For permits.
Oh, permits,
If
yeah.
they're in West Palm Beach, but now if they're in Boynton, you have to go to Boynton
Boynton
one,
Beach, and not
depending on
all
what
of
municipality
them,
they're
not
in.
all of them have it online.
So
I
here
think
on,
now, I
go
think
to
Boynton was the
online
last
services.
holdout.
No.
Boynton was
Some of
slow.
them are.
Click on
Riviera
that.
Beach has nothing on it.
Riviera Beach is
and
not
go
on.
down
No.
to
The amount of money they charge, they should be online.
They have nothing.
Permit
They got-
tracking.
They got Singer Island over there, they have nothing on that.
Anyway, there's a wealth of information out there, and all you gotta do is point your customers to the site. Don't give them the information,
No.
just point them there.
Same thing with schools.
Everything. Do not give them school information. Don't trust that MLS.
No, right.
Don't trust that MLS. I don't know why they put that on
Well,
there.
I learned in one of the classes from the MLS that when you go on IMAP and then you go all the way down to the bottom, it gives you the school, like the schools that are
You
zoned
can't rely on
for.
it.
But you don't pass out that information, ever.
Let them go find it out.
They have to find it out. They should go to the school board and type in and do the address check. We cannot, because they change on a daily basis, especially in June and July. Because that's when they reboundary everything.
I give them the link. Here you go.
Just
Here's
take
the
it to the
link,
link,
that's
let
what I
them
say.
go.
I'm
So they
not-
make a
you wanna-
mistake.
You
It's
want to
not
know what the level is? Because today,
You wanna
today
just
it's.
source it?
See, I just felt like I could trust the
Finance,
IMAP and I'm
no.
like, oh, look.
No,
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 Okay.
no.
you
not
don't
trust
trust
those
anything.
things. No.
I noticed when I was working with one client that she wanted to go to, she was living in Riverbridge and used to be the kids in Riverbridge in a certain section could go to Palm Beach Central.